Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are doing another video talking about my favorite influencers. I do these from time to time because even though social media can be a bit of a hit and miss, we see a lot of bad stuff on these platforms. Whenever someone does something that is good, that is admirable, that is well done, that is tasteful, I think they do deserve a shout out. So I'm more than happy to share them with you, especially because if you don't follow them, I do think that they are the type of content creators that you would like to follow as well. But as usual, I like to sort of have a theme to my selection of influencers, and today's theme is princess influencers. So content creators that are feminine, that are classy, that really uplift your timeline, that are inspirational. Beginning with I hope I don't butcher her name. She doesn't talk a lot to the camera, so I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Is Anastasia Gerrans? I'm not sure. I apologize, Anastasia, if you ever watch this, but you're awesome. So please forgive me. I'll make sure to link everyone in the description box below. So if you want to follow them, you just click on the link. I just wish I had her sense of style when I was her age. I think she's in her early 20s. And what I love about her is the fact that she manages to dress in a youthful yet very sophisticated manner, which is not easy to do. I don't identify myself with the TikTok generation. I think there are a lot of things out there that are just trashy, that are not really tasteful, but Anastasia just has she has an eye, she knows how to do it, and she really applies kind of classic elements of fashion to her closet in this more fresh kind of youthful way, which I think is great. I also like that her looks are relatively more modest than the average girl of her age. So if she, for instance, is sporting a shorter hemline, she will usually go for something a little bit more covered on the top. She doesn't wear a lot of makeup. Her hair is not artificial or over the top. It's all very beautifully natural, very applicable to everyday life, but with that added touch of elegance. Her attitude is also really nice. She's always smiling in her pictures. She's not like trying to do the sexy duck faces that it's just a little pet peeve of mine. She's just happy about life. You can see that she's bright. She really wants to portray someone who has a nice energy, someone with a good sense of humor, someone who doesn't take themselves too seriously. A lot of the pieces that she chooses to showcase are true classics in a wardrobe, and I do think that when you're beginning your style journey, when you decide that that more classic aesthetic is what you like, it can be hard not to make it matronly and not to look like you're too old for your age, but she accomplishes this in a genius way. You'll see her styling lady jackets and A-line skirts and beautiful feminine dresses with some extremely desirable accessories. I wish I had her shoe collection, but always done with taste, always done with a sort of traditional feminine beauty in mind. Second content creator would be Claire Couche. I'm sorry, Claire. You will also be linked in the description box below, from Finding Philothea. I have talked about many Instagram handles that focus on etiquette and manners on this channel when I do these types of videos, because I am so passionate about the subject. I think etiquette is a great tool for not only looking cultured and looking sophisticated, but also making other people feel good, also kind of elevating your day-to-day life, treating other people well. Those are features and skills that I think we all should strive for. And I love how influencers are making it a little bit more approachable and a little bit more accessible. What I love about Claire's work is that unlike a few other content creators that perhaps will verge into the comical kind of skit territory to portray their lessons, which I'm totally fine with, but I think it's a nice balance to also have someone who does it in a more romantic, kind of refined way. Her methodology is also very interesting because she will usually post a video, and the video is just kind of illustrative of what she's going to talk about in her caption. So if you're in a environment that you cannot watch a video with audio, you can just open her captions and really go deep into what she's trying to teach. So for instance, phrases to avoid saying to someone who is pregnant. It just explains everything in detail in her caption, which I think is very useful because sometimes we don't get the depth of content from just a little video demonstration, but by having that detail in text form, we'll sort of go a bit deeper and we'll actually explain the reasons why behind all of the etiquette rules. She also seems really nice, really just pleasant as a person. She's always dressed in a feminine way, so if you're an aesthetic person like me, you will be pleased to see her content on your timeline. It's just great. It's little tips that are easy to apply to day-to-day life that will make your life and the lives around the people around you better, just as etiquette should do. Third princess influencer would be Elisabeth Smiles. If you've ever taken French in your life, if it's a language you want to cultivate or improve, I do think Elisabeth is awesome. I have been watching Emily in Paris, and I mean, that girl has been in Paris for a while now and she hasn't learned anything. So if you don't want to do a faux pas like Emily, do give Elisabeth a follow, because not only does she give great tips on how to speak French like a local, what expressions you should use, how one expression doesn't really directly translate into another language, and what is the alternative to kind of get that same sense. She's also super young, super fresh, super bubbly, extremely approachable, has great style, and really helps with just giving off those tips that maybe you wouldn't learn in French lessons or French school, but that for day-to-day life are what sets a fluent speaking person apart from someone who just has some sort of proximity to the language. Just a very simple example, she just posted a video about the difference between salut and bonjour. Perhaps for a person who has a medium to entry-level knowledge of French, that would be the same thing, but she goes into the detail of what situations you use one in the place of the other, what are the sort of underlying meanings within those two words and how you can actually use them in a very natural, very French way. I save posts from her on my archive daily, and I have to say, they do come in handy, especially if you have a trip to France planned or if you are going to be talking to a French friend. Duolingo will not teach you this. So make sure, just like me, you save a bunch of her posts on Instagram and practice, especially because when it's done by someone who looks as cute as a button as Elisabeth does, it makes things way easier. Fourth content creator would be Jenny Walton. Jenny, I don't even know if I can call her a content creator because she has started her career writing for Vogue, and she's also a painter slash illustrator. So I think content creation became something she does on the side, but she's just so refreshing and has such an interesting life and outtake of life that she automatically becomes one of my favorite digital creators out there. If you love the vintage world, Jenny is an expert. Like I said, she writes for Vogue and she is their kind of vintage correspondent. So she really knows what she's talking about when it comes to vintage. She's also, just like me, very much obsessed with the 1950s. So her collection and her, let's say, style choices are geared towards that, and it's amazing to see because she manages to keep it fresh, to keep it current, to keep it cool, but always with that retro base in mind. She also lives in Milan, so sometimes I see that she's at a place that I've been before, maybe she's at an event that I also attended, and it just feels like it's more of a real person instead of just a face on the internet. I would highly recommend you follow her, not only because of her style, which is really beautiful, really curated and very original, but also the way that she lives life. She seems like the type of person who doesn't just live one day after the other, like stumbling into it. She really makes an effort into making it a little bit more romantic, a little bit more glamorous, a little bit more interesting. So just going to the supermarket with a beautiful scarf over your head, or painting in one of her vintage robes with her cute little dogs. She has a dachshund, but she also has a beagle. And I'm sorry, I'm partial to beagles. I've had beagles all of my life. And I do think that if you have a beagle, you have a good heart. So I trust her, even though I've never met her. I trust her. And I don't know, it's just a nice life. It's not extravagant, it's not trying too hard, it's not luxury, but it still has a charm and a glam to it that I really appreciate. And last but not least is Stephanie Hill from the Style Bungalow. I came across Stephanie's work very recently because I was looking for pregnant style inspiration. And this is a bit specific, I guess, to my situation, but it's really hard to feel and look good when you are carrying a baby. It can feel overwhelming. It can feel like you have nothing to wear, and it be true. Your body's changing, you have to adapt your style, you can't really wear what you want. So seeing someone being so stylish, so chic, so elegant while carrying a baby was a true inspiration. But you don't have to be pregnant to kind of take advantage of her style prowess, because she's already had the baby and she still looks as chic as ever. Her beautiful style, although rooted in that timeless, classic, sophisticated, ladylike aesthetic that we all love, is made more interesting by the addition of a few new references, some pieces that perhaps you wouldn't normally wear, but she makes it work in her wardrobe, which I think adds a lot of personality to her looks, which can be a great inspiration if you're tired of how you look, if perhaps, just like with Anastasia, the first one that we talked about, you feel a little bit stuck in a rut, a little bit boring, a little bit too expected in your style. These girls do give you great ideas on how you can change that, give it a bit of a zhuzh, give it a bit of a fresh air, and make your style your own. She's also proof that a good hairstyle is basically 50% of a good look. I wish I had the bone structure and the density of hair to pull off a haircut like this, because it just looks so charming. You could be wearing a simple t-shirt and jeans, but that sort of long bob with the bangs, you don't need much more, do you? Just like us, she loves some statement vintage looking jewelry. She doesn't put on too much makeup, very natural looking. She will go for those staples in your wardrobe, mixed and matched with more fashionista pieces. So it's a great little inspiration if you want to breathe new life into your classic closet. This is it, everyone. These are the princess influencers that I follow, feel inspired by, and hope that you will follow too. If you have anyone that fits that description, leave them down in the comments below. And also give me some ideas of videos you would like to see. I am going through my last trimester. I am huge, so I cannot do hauls, but if you have any ideas or requests for sit-down videos like this, make sure to leave them in the comments because my creativity is at its last. Hopefully I'm not boring you, always sitting here at my desk talking to the camera. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see each other again next time. Bye bye.